Let me tell you a story of how I met a 7-year-old in the juvenile justice system and how I rescued them. One day I'm seated in court. I had gone for a different matter. This is the children's court. I'm seated, and while I was waiting for my matter, there was a young boy on the dock. I looked at him. To me, he looked pretty young. To me, he looked more like 6 or even going 5. He was a chubby boy. He looked very young, very innocent. So I got interested on his case and why he was in the court and what was happening. So I sat in and I was listening. So I caught it at a place where the prosecutor, the then who were the police prosecutors then, was asking the court for more time to look into the validity of a birth certificate. So the mother of the boy had brought in a birth certificate, but the prosecutor didn't seem to be convinced that it was genuine. So she was asking for 2 more weeks for her to go validate the birth certificate. That is where I got it well in court. The court did actually agree with her and gave her the time for 2 weeks, and the court said that the child continued to be remanded. So I really got interested. After the matter, when the child left the court, of course escorted by a police officer, and the mother got out, and the boy started crying, I followed them out. I was more out of curiosity and maybe out of motherly love. I was very curious what was happening. So I followed them to the corridors, and the boy was really crying and saying, please mom, don't leave me, I want to go home, please mom, don't leave me. And the mother started crying, and I joined them. We all started crying, and maybe more from the motherly point, I felt for the boy who was really sad that he's not going home. So I later on went to the mother and sat her down and asked her, what is this? What is going on in this case? Where is your child in the system? So the mother told me the boy was arrested because he was arrested and charged with assault because while he was playing at school, he hit another child's eye, and the child got a blood eye and a swollen eye. So the boy actually, those games we used to play where you would put a stone on a handkerchief, and you swung it around, and it made that round noise, and would call it an airplane. That's a game they're playing. So in the process of swinging his thing, he did hit this other child's eye. According to the mother, the teacher did give the other child first aid, and the eye was quite okay. But what happened when the boy went home and the mother of this now the victim boy saw it, went and reported the matter to the police station. So the police came and arrested this 7-year-old and took him to the cells. Later on, went with the mother. So the mother offered to actually pay all the medical expenses for this boy. So the boy was taken to hospital. This other mother paid for all the bills, but still the mother of the victim boy insisted that the matter must go to court. Despite this other mother making all the amends and trying to pay the bills and helping as much as she could. So the boy was arrested, actually, kept in the police cell, and the following day he was taken to court and charged with assault. And that is where I caught the matter. By the time I sat in court, the boy had already been in the system for 2 weeks. He'd been in the remand for 2 weeks. So he had come, taken plea, and the court ordered for him to be placed in custody because you're waiting for age assessment. And I think that is where I caught it, because now the mother had brought the birth certificate to prove the age of the child. So when I talked to the mother, she also informed me that actually there's more to the case, that the prosecutor had asked her for 30,000. As of that day, she had already managed to get 17,000, but when she offered it to the prosecutor refused and said she needed the full amount. So the mother was at a loss because she couldn't afford any other money. She was just a casual laborer, and the child now continued to be in the system. So when I talked to the mother, I had the case. I went to the prosecutor. I approached the prosecutor and asked her what is the matter with the case. And she was very rude. She told me what makes me think that I'm the mother to all the children in the system. So I left very disappointed, frustrated. I remember I walked from court and I went to a hotel and sat there feeling very, very low, you know, because I didn't know how to help this young boy, and he was being taken back to the remand. He was going to be separated from the mother and the family. So as I sat there, I remembered one of the other magistrates. I had his number. I thought, let me call him and maybe try to talk some sense into him and tell him to tell his brother, the other magistrate, that whatever was being done was wrong. So I called this other magistrate. I explained to him what I had experienced in court, and asked him, could you call the other magistrate and just hear his side and maybe ask him to just recall that matter and let the boy go home, because really it is not fair. So the magistrate did call the other magistrate, and the report it gave me is that the magistrate has said if I'm really offended by the matter, I should do an application to the High Court to have his orders reviewed. Did I have the time to do an application? I thought that is a wrong process. First, even for me to just go sit at my desk, draft the application, you know, have it filed and all that. And this boy is in the system in suffering. So I sat there and I thought, okay, so what next? What should I do next? I thought, this is not even a matter. This is not even a judicial, this is not even a legal thing that's happening. So I sat there and I thought, so what next should I do? I remembered I could get access to the number of the then High Court registrar, the court registrar. I also had Googled the email of the then Chief Justice. I had a few other contacts here and there. So I sat down, opened my laptop, and I did an email to everyone I thought could help. And I explained what had happened to court, what I had experienced. And I said in that email how devastated I was that actually this was happening. Luckily enough, immediately, like after 2 hours, the then registrar called me and told me she has seen my email and she's acting on it, and I should get calm and I should appear in court the following day for us to deal with the matter. So I would say yes, I did go home. Did I sleep much? Not much, you know. I was still thinking about this boy and whether actually he will get help the following day. I think the following day, in the morning, the children's court was crazy with activity. You know, there was high tension. The registrars were there. The principal magistrate in charge of the family division was there. Everybody was there, you know, very concerned. And luckily enough, also, by miracle, which rarely happened, the boy was there, you know. It was amazing how quick he was produced, that by that morning he was already in court. So quickly, with the registrar and the judge, the orders were overturned and the boy was released to the mother. The magistrate concerned was asked to do an apology for me, which he did, and I appreciated it. The prosecutor was immediately transferred and removed from the children's court. Also, the other beautiful thing that happened, from then the children's court got some attention from the court management. So from that point on, children were given more attention. There was an established now a children's sitting area. A meal system was started for children. The children registry got a makeover. And I would say, as much as it was so bad and traumatizing for that young boy, at least he made a difference for the other children. Maybe the other children now are getting better services and they're not as much suffering. Now we have qualified prosecutors who are also lawyers who are taking care of the children, and they're quite more considerate of the children. The magistrates have also been quite sensitized on how to deal with children matters. They are more sensitive and more reasonable when it comes to children. So what is the lesson for today? Talk to your children, because in Kenya the age of criminal responsibility is 8. That means a child who is 8 and commits a crime or is in conflict with the law, as we call it, can be arrested and brought into the system. That is my story for today. Please let me know your questions and your comments on the story. Thank you.